I'm not trying to click on nothing. Okay. And here we go. We're live. It's 4 o'clock,
All
y'all.
right.
Welcome to the Discovery Within podcast, where we explore the depths of self discovery and personal growth. I'm your host, Tiarra Denise.
And I'm your co host, LJ the PeaceMaker. And welcome to episode 16 of the Discovery Within podcast. And this episode, we're going to be talking about how there are no accidents or coincidences. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. Now, I know that is like this mysterious, like cosmic thing that's sometimes so difficult for us to understand. So I can't wait for us to really just delve into this and share our perspectives and insights.
Yeah, so we're going to dive right into it. For those of you who are catching it live with us, we thank you for joining the conversation. And for you catching the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. Let us know your thoughts, your opinions, whatever on the conversation. So, yeah, we're going to get started. This one is like we always say when we get on here every time, these conversations, we don't really think that they have much meaning or anything, but in some way we find that these conversations when we're delivering them on here, that they align with, the experiences that we have off camera, because of course we're coaches, we're here to help guide other people, but the advice and the insights that we give other people, like that's for us too. And I can honestly say, like, just like the title in itself, like there are no coincidences, no accidents, it's all happening to you. It's all happening for you, not to you. It's crazy because I used to hear that saying a lot when I was in the financial industry. I had a coach who used to always say that nothing is happening to you, everything is happening for you. And that little saying always stuck with me. And then it's like when you get the chance to just experience it and live it, you see just how much those sayings like, reign true to you. Because like I don't know, was it last week or the week before last? I can't even remember. I don't be keeping up with the days. I just keep on going because we have our own chaos that we deal with in our own lives. Because my week last week I was saying that, look, life throwing them bowls at me, but you know what? I won't be defeated, because I was telling you off camera about it, how I went to go to Chick-fil-A to go get me something to eat. I had just laid my son down for a nap, so I used it as a time to go out and step out for a second. I was gonna run a quick errand and then get me something to eat. But when I left, I did not go and do what I originally said I was gonna do. I took a different route than what I thought I was gonna take. So went a different route and got me something to eat. And then I'm in the drive through. Everything's all good. Everybody's, waiting on their food. And all of a sudden my brakes decide they want to go out. And I ended up rear ending the person that was in front of me in the drive through. And I was just sitting there in shock because I was like, what? What is really going on today? Because I was already like in this kind of mood where I was already feeling like drained and I was feeling like blah. And then for this to happen, I was like, what in the world? So it kind of shook me up just for a second. But I had to get out, couldn't panic too much. And then out of nowhere appears a off-duty sheriff. It was actually the sheriff of the county. I'm like, where he come from? But I guess it was like a good thing that he was there, because to me, I could say that it was divine to have him in the line at the time that happened. Even though he's like, dang man, now we got to get insurance companies involved and stuff. Like, I don't need this. I need my car, and then I need my food too, because I came here to get me something to eat. And so, that happened. And then I didn't let it really get to me as much, but I was over it. I was over it because I just paid my car off this year for one. And then for that to happen, it's like, now I'm gonna be out of a car. But in that moment, I didn't really let it get to me. I didn't let the chaos and the unexpected thing that was happening to me just get me down, all the way. So I just did what I do best, handled that business. The officer came, helped us direct traffic and all of that. Went home that night. I was able to tow my car and all that. So I had help, I had support, during my chaotic time. So that, kind of helped me to, alleviate any stress. So, I went to sleep on it because that's what I do best. Sometimes when you're going through it, your world is chaotic. Sometimes it's just best to go sleep on it, just get some rest and, wake up, try again tomorrow. So I did that, got up. I'm not even gonna lie to you now. The next day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna lay here because, what's really going on? Why is this happening? I was asking myself that question, but then I told myself like, Tiarra, you're going through a very transformative time in your life right now. Things are just changing for you right now. Like you don't been here before. You don't been. This is not the first time you don't been without a car. Let's get up. Let's keep it moving. That's how I had to learn to talk to myself, because we all go through challenges. So I'm talking to myself like, girl, get your butt up. So I got up, got myself together. The errand that I was supposed to run the previous day, which I'm grateful that I didn't run that errand because had I ran that errand, the accident, I could have really had a major accident if I had went the direction that I was originally going in. So it makes me look at that and like that chaos and then the accident and the coincidence that happened. Like, you know what, you probably saved your life, I was like, I'm glad that it happened in the drive-through and not in traffic where I was originally going. So, I looked at it that way. But then the next day, get in the car, go run my errands, get to the grocery store thinking I'm finna buy me stuff and eat my car. The car, oh, hold up. Now I know I got money on my car. Now I know that I got money on my life. I said, no, not 2 days in a row. This is not about to happen. So you know what? I said, you know what? I don't know what life has in store for me, but you will not knock me down. Let me run back to the house and go get me some cash and figure out what the world is going on with my card and stuff. So, didn't let it get me down. It made me, just suck it up and go do what I had to do. And then it just made me like, I think for me, the reason why I wasn't, so upset, I was more grateful than anything because yes, my car is down. Now I got to get that fixed. Of course, there's more money you got to put into it. Just like taking care of a person. You got to take care of your cars and stuff. But I'm not letting that bother me. And I just let what was out of my control happen. I didn't stress. I didn't worry about it. And I was offered support. My brother, I'm actually using my brother's car now. So I look at like my real life situations, like things happen for us, like things get real chaotic, unexpected things happen, but sometimes they happen for a reason. And it's like really to like teach you something. I'm like, why is this happening? Like, what am I supposed to be getting out of this? And it just made me, for me, it just showed me that, you're transitioning, you're headed for, new things in your life. Of course, you're gonna hit a few bumps in the road, but are you going to continue, with the same mindset, thinking that everything is just happening for you? Woe is me, I can't get ahead. This is stopping me from doing. No, I didn't think with that mindset. I thought I was grateful through it all because my car may be down for a minute, but I have transportation. So in the midst of the unexpected, the uncertain thing, the accidents and stuff, things are still coming together. So I'm still able to, go handle my business, do what I have to do. I have the transportation to take me and my child to and from where we need to be. And so I just look at all of that instead of focusing on like, oh, the chaos and stuff that's around. And that's something that can really help you to, navigate the uncertainties and, things in life because with life, it's spontaneous and unexpected things happen all the time. When you have that mindset that there are no accidents, there are no coincidences, because I could have sat there and just been moping. I could have been pouting like, why my car had to tear up, because that used to be me. That used to be me pouting and stuff. But this time, like, well, it happened for a reason. I don't know. And then I thought about shoot, it happened right now because if it had not happened, if I went that other route, I probably wouldn't be here. And so you have to look at the bigger picture sometimes, and it helps you to just, you know what, it wasn't a loss. I'm still here. I still got away, and I'm gonna just keep going. So that's like my real life experience that I want to share to kind of like open up the conversation. I may have another one to pull out, but we'll stop right there.
Well, I mean, that's an amazing story. I feel like it clearly demonstrates how things are happening for you because had you been at another location when your brakes gave out, I don't even want to consider what that would have looked like, you know. And it's so interesting because when we look backwards, we can see how the dots connect. Forward, we can't see because we don't know what the next step is going to be. So it's really important that we're able to trust that there's something bigger at play. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it's a decision. You got to decide, what do I believe? Who do I believe I am? What do I believe my place is in this grand scheme of things, this universe, this cosmic design? And I mean, when we set our mind on those things, who we are, who we want to be, what we're going towards, ultimately it begins to diminish a lot of the feelings of woe is me or feeling like something's against you. You begin to realize this is all sharpening me. It can't stop me, you know. And I think that you mentioned too about, like, you know, the things you were saying to yourself and really just telling yourself to get up and to keep going. And it's so important that we really give ourselves a running start. Like, you got to start telling yourself these empowering things, so that way when a trying time comes, you already been practicing. Because in a trying time, it's hard to believe, okay, this is working out for me. So unless you've been telling yourself that prior to that point, it ain't gonna work, you know. And I mean, one of the things that I've constantly told myself is, what's gonna stop me? Nothing. And so I constantly repeat that to myself. And now I recognize that nothing can stop me, you know. And when we lock in on a very clear purpose, then we begin to see how there's no accidents or coincidences, how this is bringing me towards the purpose, you know, every step, even the things that are perceived setbacks, because you realize how they're sharpening you in some way, you know. And so it's like, now I know nothing can stop me. Why? Because mad stuff try to stop me. And I'm still going. You know what I mean? You think when things were trying to stop me, that was fun? No, it wasn't fun. But in those moments, I kept reminding myself, nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. And so on the other side of it, I know that I'm powerful. I'm, you know, in a higher degree of knowledge of self. I recognize, okay, I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of my mind. And I never would have known that or been able to embrace that sense of empowerment without all the setbacks. So it's like, these setbacks are happening for you. They're sharpening you. They're making you more powerful, more resilient, and clearly identifying what you're really made of. And it's for us to really embrace that and not slip into this woe is me mentality, thinking that things are against us, because nothing is against you. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes people may seem like they're against you, but God and the divine plan that's working behind the scenes is one of love. So it's trying to line everything up for you to keep bringing you forward. And it's for us to get on board. That's it. You know, get on board and start acknowledging the truth, which is that it's all happening for you. It's all part of this fulfillment of your purpose, so that you keep going to be all that you were made to be.
Yes, and I love that you said it's all a part of the divine plan, on the divine order, however you want to word it. You just got to think about it, like, just knowing that it's all happening for a reason. I'm pretty sure we've heard that saying so many times, and like, whether you believe in God, whatever it is, like, there's always a higher power, or something that's behind the scenes orchestrating, making sure everything is happening divinely and in the way that it should. And even when things are chaotic, it's still divine. That's still divine order, because some things must happen in order. Sometimes things need to be shaken up in order for things to get on the right course. So what's a life without chaos? You got to think about it. There's no light without darkness. So you can't, it's not going to be one way all the time. Of course, I would have wanted my day to go smooth. Of course, we want our days to go smooth. We don't want nothing to happen. But when stuff happens unexpectedly, sometimes it happens on the wrong day when you ain't even feeling good. Like, of all days, today, so you go, this is what's going to happen today. But it's like when you switch that mindset from, why is this happening to me, to, okay, what is this happening for? Because for me, when I look back, it's like, you know what is this really? Because I'm curious, and you have to get to a point where you're like curious instead of just focusing solely on the problem. Because remember, we already talked about this in previous episodes about not focusing on the problem. Look, we identified the problem. We know what's going on. Let's look forward and see what this solution is going to be about. Let's get curious about that. And so I'm like, why is this happening? And some things happen to us to show us something that we are ignoring. And it may show us to force us into change. For me, the lesson I feel like I learned was for me to learn to rely on others a little bit more. Because when it happened, the only thing I was thinking about, oh man, I'm gonna have to rely on people. I sure hate that. I don't want that. I don't want that for me. But then it's like I already knew you have that inner knowing, you have that intuition sometimes with when you're in tune with yourself and you're going within and you're asking these questions like, okay, what is this happening for? But for me, it was like, yep, the very thing that you can't stand is going to be that very thing that is what's going to lead you to that growth. It's what's going to lead you to change. Because in this time, yes, I'm an independent person. I pride myself on being independent. I love being able to be self-sufficient. But sometimes the unexpected happens and you're gonna have to lean on others. And I'm just but with like divine order, with that, you have to allow things to unfold in the way that it's unfolding. Because one thing about divine order, it's gonna unfold anyway. It don't need your permission, either by choice or by force. Either way, it's gonna happen. So to save yourself a peace of mind and less stress, just go on let it flow and let it happen. And that's what I did. I just let it flow. And then, I just learned the lesson out of it. Sometimes it can teach us that, sometimes, oh, stop, pump your brakes, trying to show you something here. This is something that we need to work on. This is something that we need to tweak. I got you taken care of, but I need to sit you down for a second so I can show you some things. And so when you start to reframe that and you're not looking at it like, oh man, whoa, it's always something. Because the minute you say that, that does not help the situation whatsoever. It only keeps you in a place of stagnancy because you're not allowing for change. You're not allowing for growth. And when these coincidences and these accident and unexpected things happen, it's only happening for change. It only happens for growth. And one thing about growth, life is constant. Everything is constantly changing and growing. And that's the inevitable. So when you learn to just flow with that and accept it and not try to fight or resist it, it can make it easier for you to navigate those chaotic times because you can't navigate chaos with chaos. The chaos is
Right.
already happening outside of you. You ain't got no control over. So you're gonna be chaotic on the inside because you can't operate and navigate through these things with a chaotic mind, with a chaotic heart. You have to be open. You have to remain grounded when stuff is getting real shaky. Because when it gets shaky, you better be holding on. Don't be trying to fight. So that's what life is like when you get those shakeups and stuff. But when you shift your mindset to like, what is this happening for? It's so empowering. So you're opening yourself up to, allow whatever message, whatever change or whatever that needs to come in to actually come in so that you can better yourself. So
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes us relinquishing certain mindsets, or, as you mentioned about relying on people and stuff like that, sometimes that stuff is gut wrenching because we don't realize how embedded in us it is. You know what I mean? It's like we want to accomplish a certain thing, but we don't realize that certain belief systems, certain aspects of ourselves, certain ways that we approach life is blocking us. So at the end of the day, it's like you blocking yourself, and the divine plan is going to help you clear out that block. you know and sometimes that is painful, because I mean, I know for me in this journey, like there have been some gut wrenching experiences where I'm like on the floor pleading with God, like, God, what is going on with me? Take this away from me. Like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Why does this seem like this is happening again? Why is this hurting like this? And I realized through certain experiences is that some beliefs were so rooted in me just due to life experiences, thinking that, I gotta fend for myself, or like thinking that it's all on me, and I'm the one who has to make everything happen, were so embedded in me because that's what life was showing me. And it's like God is like, I can't pour blessings into you or use you as a vessel with all that blockage. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, having to go through the process of clearing out the blockages. And that only happened through what looks like setbacks, what looks like mistakes, what looks like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I recognize after the fact that, wow, I'm lighter now. I feel freer. I don't have to feel that way because that had me in defensive mode, in survival mode. And it's like, no, that's not where this divine presence and the flow of God and all the good things dwell. It's not in those places of stress, of tension, all that stuff that we're holding on to creates these blockages, and it's really interfering with us accomplishing our purpose, fulfilling our destiny. And so it's like through these experiences that may seem chaotic, that may seem like they're unconnected, or that may even be painful sometimes and aggravating, it's helping us to go forward, to be step more fully into our true self. Because it's like you picked up all this baggage and you're holding on to it. And sometimes we don't even know that we're holding on to that. We just think, oh, that's just the way I am. And it's like, no, actually, you weren't born with that. You picked that up along the way somewhere, and you got to loosen your grip on it. Let go. So sometimes it got to be forced out of our hand because it's for our ultimate well-being. It's bringing us forward to make us better and to help us to align more fully with our truth. And granted, it's like I could say all that, and it's like, okay, but when it hurts, then what? What do I do? And that goes back to the self-talk. We got to talk to ourselves consistently in an empowering way, in a way that is going to help us maintain when we go through these things that look crazy. And again, one of the things I shared is what's going to stop me? Nothing. Repeating that to myself daily, daily. So when a setback comes, I know, okay, this can't stop me. It looks crazy. I don't like it. I don't want this, but I know it can't stop me because I've trained myself to know nothing can stop me. And then another one is forward only. Life
Mm-hmm.
only moves forward. Everything is only going forward. So no matter how I perceive a circumstance, I know that behind the scenes, in the spiritual realm, in the cosmic essence of where God dwells, that part only goes forward. So it doesn't matter what I see. I know that there's a lag between what's going on in the unseen and what's going on in the physical. So what's going on in the unseen is only going forward. So I have to accept that what I can see is going forward too, because it has to, if that's how the unseen works. You know what I mean? But that only comes from practice. Like, we got to practice this mindset. We got to keep reminding ourselves of it consistently and really get a running start, so that way when the crazy looking stuff comes, this is what comes to mind. This is what comes to remembrance. Because otherwise, that stuff, the crazy looking stuff that seems chaotic, that is actually helping you to move forward, it will deter you if you're not approaching it from the right perspective. It will make you start feeling like you don't got what it takes. You're not good enough. And it will start impacting your self-worth. When at the end of the day, circumstances are circumstances. You are a separate entity from those circumstances. So no matter what circumstance arises, you can still maintain a posture of knowing that you're going forward, knowing that everything is working out for you. And I mean, another one that I constantly repeat to myself is everything's working out perfectly for me. And it's like, how can I say that? I mean, scripture says that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. So as far as I'm concerned, I latch on to that. And I'm like, that means it's working out just right. You know what I mean? Everything's working out just right. Oh, this looks crazy. Oh, I don't got the money for this bill. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. It's all right because everything's working out perfectly for me. And really, all we have to do is just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Because oftentimes when it starts looking like it's not working out for us, we start projecting too far outward into the future. It's like, stay right here in this present moment. You are right, you know. And just like the example with you in drive-through, you were alive, you were fine, you were still breathing. Granted, you didn't necessarily like this situation, but it was flowing along moment to moment. Everything was actually okay. Maybe it was annoying, but it was still actually okay. And as we stay present, it allows us to maintain our power in knowing, okay, I'm making it through this. Something's happening here. I don't exactly understand it, but I'm going to trust that this is happening for me, you know. And then ask God, show me the benefit, show me what I'm supposed to be getting right now, show me what is going on, because I don't get it. And oftentimes I say that for myself. I'm like, God, I don't know what you're doing, but I trust you. So can you like give me some insight what's going on right now, because this looks a mess. And that's it. Like, you know, really just being that open, that honest, and surrendering to the fact that there is a divine design. There's this divine cosmic plan going on. And it's beyond really our scope of understanding, because we're coming from our perspective. So, how can we understand the synchronicities of like the entirety of the planet and the galaxies? Like, it's too big. It's not for us to understand. What we can do is just accept it's all out here making sense in some way. Whether I get it or not, it still is part of this divine design that is working out to improve, evolve, continue to grow and expand. And I get to be a part of it. So it's like, oh, okay, I get to be a part of all this masterful creation and stuff. All right, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Everything you said was just so powerful. And you were mentioning about synchronicities, those are like those times when you get all these different signs or, random events that happen and you just think like, oh, what is this? Like sometimes you look at the stuff like it has no significance, but like you said, everything is really all in divine alignment. You thinking like the smallest of things, like, oh, that's nothing, but it's all like, coming together. So it's all about, paying attention to the signs, because those things can prepare you, for chaos and stuff and the things that may come, when it happens so that you're able to get through it. And when you was talking about the mantra that you say for yourself, like that is so empowering. And I think that, it's a great tool for individuals to use for themselves, especially like not just for those times when, things are chaotic, but every day because at any moment things can change. We could feel a different way in like those moments when your mind is shifting, your emotions, whatever is going on with you. That's the time for you to tap in with yourself and talk to yourself, like have a conversation with yourself. Most people think that you crazy to talk to yourself. You got to have a friend in you because you don't gonna deal with you for the rest of your life. So why not have the most healthiest functioning relationship with yourself? Because like we say, we preach this all the time, like the relationship with self, that's the core, that's the foundation to all other relationships and stuff. So when these things are happening, we're able to, navigate them, better when they come up. But like when you was talking about the mantras and stuff, I thought about this mantra that I saw earlier this week when it said let me get it right. I'm probably gonna paraphrase it, but it was something like I fell down plenty of times, but I've never laid there. So
Mm.
that's like a mantra that you can, or just a quote or something that you could, live by and just think about when those moments of chaos comes and all these things, like you feel like all the responsibilities, it's a lot on your plate. When you feel like, man, I just want to lay down because we have those moments when we like, look, whew, I need a break. And it's okay to lay down. Sometimes lay down that means, get yourself in alignment, rest, meditate, pray, whatever you have to do to get your mind right, to get yourself grounded so that you can navigate whatever is going on outside of you. Do that because things happen to, push us or to, show us a different route to go or a different approach, all things, that come to us is not something that's happening to destroy you. Some people may look at it as like a test or whatever, like a test to, are you going to rise to this occasion? Because like we said, life is going to continue to move forward regardless of what we doing. Things going to keep being thrown at us every which way, but it's like, look, you gonna lay down or you gonna get up? You can lay down for a little bit. Give yourself that, honor yourself. I'm not just saying, I'm gonna handle this. I got this. Cause sometimes you like, wait, hold up. Let me get a minute. Let me catch my breath. I'm not done. I'm not giving up. Let me have a moment. And it's important that you give yourself a moment. And then you get your butt right back up and you transmute this thing. And I love to say alchemize whatever is going on. So for me, when all that was going on, of course I felt, like, okay, this some bull. This is irritating. I don't want to have to deal with this. I don't want to have to rely on anybody. I don't want to have to wait on nobody. But I couldn't harp on it. I couldn't ponder on that because that was not going to give me a solution. Like, if push come to shove and you got something that you got to do for yourself and your child, you're gonna be complaining about how you're gonna get it if the help, the support is already here and presented to you. Are you going to complain about how it's packaged up? Or are you going to accept that you're taken care of and that everything is still working out for you? Because it's all divine. This is just the moment. And you got to think, this is not the first time that you've probably been in these incidences or whatever when it comes to things happening to you. So that's a moment for you to look back at all you have come through. And 9 times out of 10, when you look back when stuff is going real chaotic in your life, you're like, oh, I've been here before. I don't navigated something like this before. And you can use that strength, you can use that wisdom, those lessons from the past to help you to navigate now and figure out what it's trying to teach you. Because over the years, as you go through these chaotic experiences, they're teaching you, they're building you. And I know for me, like, man, I've been through so much worse. And this could have been worse. So what I'm fretting for? I'm still alive. I can still walk. I can see. Forget the rest. We can replace this. Let's figure out how we gonna move forward now. And when you was talking about the presence of now, it's all about the present moment. What are we going to do now to move forward? Because harping and just focusing on the problem won't ever bring a solution. It won't ever help us to grow. It keeps us stagnant. It keeps us from being proactive and actually going. Like, these things aren't happening to destroy you, but it's a moment for you to realize and stand up, like, and see who you are. It's for you to look in the mirror and say, hold up now. Am I gonna be defeated? You really have to ask yourself. That's a moment for you to tap in with yourself and ask yourself questions. Because you gotta ask yourself, like, okay, I understand what's going on right here. Some of this stuff is out of my control. But I want to be able to navigate my way through this. I want to be able to grow. So then how am I gonna grow through this? Like, show if you don't sometimes you don't have a clue because things are uncertain. You don't know, what's the next move, what's gonna happen next. But when you keep going, it's like divinely things come into play to help you to, stay directed and get you on path.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's so powerful what you were saying. What came to mind to me too is really recognizing how like particular things are cultivated. So for myself, I'm LJ the Peacemaker. I'm not just peaceful by osmosis. Like that just doesn't just come to me. It's through constantly being confronted with chaos. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, okay, you want to be peaceful? Let's see how you manage that or learn to master it through all this madness. That's how peace is cultivated. You want to
Mhm.
have true inner strength? It comes from you facing many a battle. Like that's how this is cultivated. You want to be in shape in any area, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally. You got to keep working out the muscles, and they're worked out through this discomfort. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that we really got to make this distinction with how we feel and what we do. Those are two different things. That is two different things. You know what I mean? I can feel tired. I can feel like I'm not good enough. I can feel like I don't know if this is going to work. But while I'm feeling those things, I can still take the next step in my plan. I can still put one foot in front of the other. And I think that that's part of what we have to understand. That's how you're strengthened. And that's what, a lot of these experiences and circumstances are helping us to know that no matter what, nothing can stop you, because you can be sad and put one foot in front of the other, gently, easily, kindly with yourself. And it's like that in and of itself is bringing you forward, learning how to treat yourself appropriately, learning how to guard your mouth. Because I mean, something else that came to mind when you were speaking was the story in the Bible of Job, which, I mean, I don't know how many of our viewers are familiar with that, but the man lost everything, went through tragedy, this, that, and that, was saying, woe is me, cursed the day I was born. But at the end, he was blessed, not because he didn't necessarily complain, but because he never cursed God. So ultimately, why I bring that up is because it's about, what are we saying when stuff feels weird? What are we saying when it looks like woe is me? Because you could feel bad. You can feel like, why is this happening to me? But what are you saying? We speak out of our mouth blessing and cursing. Are you speaking blessings over yourself to help you continue forward? Are you believing that you are worthy of something better, or believing that this is part of a plan? And it's like, we really have to ask ourselves these things and look at how we're responding, because these situations that seem random, that seem unrelated, are all attempting to bring us forward. It's like, if you don't get the lesson this time, don't worry, I'm gonna bring it around again, that crazy thing, till you get it, okay, sweetie? And it's like, it's for us to be alert, to be out here really watchful, mindful, so that we can obtain the lessons, so that we keep moving forward. Because if we don't choose to move forward, then we're going to keep going around the same cycle on this treadmill until we get the point. So it's like, it's really all helping us to step into the next evolution of ourselves. And it's for us to recognize that we have the power, that nothing can defeat us. It's only in our own mind that we think, okay, I'm going to accept this defeat. And we don't have to accept it. We don't have to accept it, but really realizing what that looks like, because as you mentioned, sometimes it's go lay down. Like, this is too stressful. Go lay down. This is emotionally draining. I need to cry. Go cry. Go do whatever it is that you feel led to do, recognizing that it's all bringing you forward so that you can move beyond it, because everything is temporary and everything is bringing you to the next step. And so the next step is forward. You're moving forward, and it's all part of this divine design to keep bringing you forward. But it's for us to line up, to accept it, to know, okay, life is bringing me forward, and I am able to navigate it as I take my time. Because that's another thing. We really have to slow down and stand in the present moment. Be here, because sometimes we're standing right here and our mind is over there, over here, over there, over there. And it's like, how can we operate efficiently and effectively in what we're doing at present if we're not fully present? So really recognizing that if we are in the present moment, we're alert, we're attentive to what we're feeling, to what's going on around us, then we begin to identify the synchronicities. We start seeing, like, oh snap, why was I just thinking about something? And now I see the book over there I was thinking of, or whatever, or I just thought of this person and look, here they go. Or I watched something, now this person is saying it to me. As you really are present, you begin to become aware of it. But it's all a choice. You have to choose for yourself what you are going to believe. Are you going to believe that God loves you and that you're part of this divine design? Or are you going to believe that nobody cares about you and everybody's against you? Like, I don't want to believe that. But again, you have free will to choose to line up with this divine plan, or you can keep going against it and make it force you to line up. Because, you know, with time, so many setbacks, so many beat downs, after a while, we get to this place of surrender. Like, okay, whatever you say.
Yeah, it's like you said when you was talking about things happening in cycles. Like that's how life works. Look, it comes in cycles. Things happen. Look, is you gonna get with it? You gonna flow with it? Okay, I'll be back around. It's not over with. Look, by choice or by force, it may come in a different form next time. So whatever, be prepared. It's gonna come. And it's like you said, you get to this place where you surrender. You're gonna get to a point where you get tired of your own mess because it's really essentially up to you and how you're responding to the chaos. Because you don't have no control over the outside things, but you do have control over how you respond to life. And life is always giving you things to respond to. So it's like you said, it's a testament to show you that just how powerful you are. And it's all within. That power is within you. So, like you said, what type of energy are you giving to the situation? Like, where's your mind at? Where are your thoughts at? What are you speaking? Are you being negative? Are you still in this woe is me energy? Like something, I got bad luck. This is always happening to me. Something bad is out. I can't never, get ahead. You got to think about the things that you're saying because this is the energy that you're feeding. This is what you pushing out to the universe. And, it responds to whatever you giving off. So are you gonna come from a disempowered place or are you gonna move from an empowered place? Are you gonna speak life into it? Are you gonna alchemize this situation when the stuff shows up? Because that's the inevitable. We're gonna keep continuing to go through things. We're gonna have our moment. Everything's cool, everything's copacetic, ain't that really happening. Everything's smooth sailing, but then you're gonna have the moments where the world is flipped upside down. And how are you gonna navigate that? You with that internal knowing. That's just the truth. It's gonna be like that. You're gonna have those days and it's gonna be unexpected is I don't know what. How are you going to respond though? So it's like when you have these challenges, it's not something that's here to break you down or, push you back. Because when things like this happen, a lot of us do tend to get in this energy to where we think, man, somebody's against me. Somebody don't want to see me, get ahead. And we always putting stuff and, and energy to things outside of us. And you want to place the blame. We don't think we had nothing to do with some of our circumstances. And granted, some of that stuff we have no control over. We got to ask ourselves, okay, what role do I play in what's going on? What am I not doing? Where am I not showing up for myself? Because when it's all said and done, everything really points back to self. What are you doing? What changes are you making? And anytime this stuff comes and flips your world upside down, it's really just a catalyst. It's a catalyst for change. It's a catalyst for growth. We are here to evolve. We're not here to be the same. We're not here to be doing the same thing our whole entire life. So it's like, okay, you want to sit here thinking you just finna escape through life doing it this way and no switch up, no change, no growth, none of that. Okay, life gonna throw a curveball at you. And then it's up to you and how you gonna respond to it. You ain't gonna be able to respond to things the same way that you used to. You may get away with it at some point in your life, but if sometimes things shake up, you not trying to budge. Okay, life gonna keep spinning, life gonna keep moving forward. It's gonna be up to you to catch up. And then sometimes some of us, when we don't, reshape our mindset and how we view things that are happening for us, we get in this place of where we really don't grow. And now we're looking around at everybody outside of us. We're looking at the next person. Oh, they progressing. They getting this, they're getting blessings or whatever the case may be. You think they're doing better than you, but it's like those people are a reflection of you. Any greatness that you see in someone else is a direct reflection of the greatness that is within you. Only difference is that person put in the work. And they are just showing you the parts of yourself that you can also, be and do that you're not doing. They're not doing anything different from you other than they're doing something, they're doing the work. and it requires the internal work. A lot of internal is going to be more so internal than anything, because when you do the internal work, you're better able to be proactive and do the external. So it's all about work. So you want things to be a certain way. If you want your circumstances to change, what work are you willing to do? What changes are you willing to make to see that you do change your circumstances? Because talking about them, fretting about them, focusing on the problem, but you ain't putting one foot in front of the other. And it's like you said, those small steps, you can baby step this thing, baby step it at first, and then pick up your pace. Don't put too much on yourself, because we know change isn't always easy. And fear, self-doubt, all sorts of things come up when it's time for drastic change or major changes. But it's like, when it's time to go, it's time to go. Either you gonna sink or you gonna swim.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's important for us to recognize the the divine power of incremental action. Like, nature is not out here stressing, straining, rushing. And that's the way growth occurs, growth, evolution. So we have to tap into that flow, which is this incremental process that's ceaseless and that's continuing to evolve and expand. And that's part of the divine design. That's part of what's helping us to move forward. And so it's for us to step into that, really just let ourselves grow, let ourselves change kindly, gently, and recognizing that we got to be able to pace ourselves, because change is inevitable. So things are going to keep changing. So I can't start something today. Say I want to start writing a book. I'm not going to sit down today and write 10 chapters. Maybe today I did have the time. Maybe I sat down and I did write 10 chapters. That's wonderful. But we can't delude ourselves to think that tomorrow is going to afford us the exact same time allotment, or that tomorrow is not going to bring with it certain circumstances that are going to make us have to deviate from that plan. So it's really about us being able to perceive that we don't have full control of what's going to happen. However, what we have control of is ourselves. So it's like, if we step into this incremental action, realizing, okay, every day I'm going to give myself 30 minutes to do this. You can do that. That is going to bring you forward. And that is something realistic that you can still continue in spite of what may come. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we start trying to force things, and then we're all out of alignment. Because, like I said, the divine flow of nature is incremental, is gradual, is progressive. It doesn't stop moving forward. So it's for us to figure out what that looks like for us. What does that mean in my life for me to not stop going forward? Does that mean that I can only commit 10 minutes a day to this? Recognizing that as it grows, it will increase. But if you don't want to stop, then you got to start off simple. You got to start off gentle. You got to start off easy. That way you're aligning with the flow of how things work and continuing to be in control and maintain this position of power to keep you going forward. But something else that came to mind when you were speaking is really about we got to watch what we're participating in, because with regards to like alchemy, which you also mentioned, and like being able to transmute energy, you're either participating in one polarity or the other. Like, there's this duality. There's not really so much in between. So if I'm pointing outside of myself, thinking that outside of me is against me, then that means that outside factors control what happens in my life. I can't believe that. If I believe that, then that means I have no control. I can't make anything turn into what I want it to be. And I'm just powerless in this whole life experience. So it's for us to be very aware and alert of what we're saying, how we're perceiving things, and what we're believing. Because even blaming, if I blame you for what happened to me, then that means you have more control of my outcomes than I do. I can't, because that will impact every area of my life. Even though, granted, maybe I'm just blaming you for a specific situation, but that if I'm engaging in blaming, that means that I'm coming from this perspective that other things outside of me have more control of my life than I do. And it's like we have to become aware of what we're thinking, what we're engaging in, because that will disempower you in every area of your life, even though maybe you're only focusing on one situation, one circumstance, And the thing is, we engage in these things in blaming, in disempowering belief systems, not recognizing that that's why we're not making progress. That's why we're not getting ahead, because you got on blame glasses. You got on glasses that say everybody's against me. Oh, I have bad luck. And that will continue to show up for you in your experience, because we have the ability to create. You are powerful. And so, whatever it is that you're believing is what is going to become prevalent in your reality, in your experience. And granted, the divine plan is to keep bringing you forward. So, it's going to keep bringing you to experiences that are seeking to bring you forward. But at the end of the day, if you're not a cooperative component, then you keep manifesting the same old mess. So it's for you to recognize that the power is in you. The power is in you. And, for me, it's really that simple. Like we often say, oh, it's not black or white. There's gray area. No, it's black or white as far as I'm concerned, because you could either choose up or down. Like, which way do you want to choose? Either you're empowered or you're disempowered. And that's it. And if you keep switching in between, then you're just disempowered, because that means you're uncertain, and uncertainty leads to instability, and instability leads to you're disempowered. So it's like pick one and ride with it. And when I say there's no gray area, that doesn't mean sometimes you don't feel confused or sometimes you're not sure exactly what to do. But you never step back into this disempowered perspective, because you have the power. You always have the ability to choose, to believe, to look ahead, to believe there's a lesson, to believe this is sharpening you, it's giving you some insight, you're gaining some new wisdom, whatever it is. And as you seek, you will find. So keep looking forward. Keep expecting that things are working out for you. Keep believing that you're part of this divine plan and everything is helping you. Everything, even the hard parts, even the parts that hurt a little, even the parts that look crazy, confusing, and that you wish wasn't happening right now. Recognizing it is all bringing you forward. And I mean, I can say that because that's been my life experience. My life has been full of so much pain, mentally, physically, anxiety, abandonment, this, that, you name it. I feel like I know it well. You know what I mean? I really believe that, yeah, I know those experiences. However, the degree of conviction, of commitment, of focus, of fortitude, of diligence, of discipline that I have right now was born out of all that pain. I got to a point one day where I said, not no more. Like, either I got the power or I'm condemned to this suffering and I'm not going to have it. Like, I'm not having it and I'm not condemning my children to it. I refuse. And so with that, I never look back. Anything telling me I don't got the power, use a lie. Like, use a lie, because I have to have the power, or else, like, what are we doing here? What is this? You know what I mean? So it's like, let's know that everything is helping you. Everything is making you stronger, wiser, tougher. Whatever it is that you believe you're supposed to be or want to be, trust that you are being led in that direction, and that the hard parts are some of your greatest teachers. So embrace the lesson, look for the lesson, get the lesson so you don't got to repeat the class.
That was a lot of wisdom that you just shared there. So I hope if you're listening, you caught that, because that's some lifelong wisdom that you can take with you to navigate these challenges. And when you said, what was it that you said? I'm having I'm having a
I'm
moment.
like, don't ask me, because I get to talking and I'll be like, what I say?
But it excited because it hit me in here. What was you saying? Because I want to build off that. What was it? Okay, let me just keep talking so maybe I remember it again. You said, do you want to be disempowered? Um, what was it? You was talking about being disempowered. Oh yeah. Do you want to be condemned to the suffering? And it just made me think about how, most people don't like to, see the truth or believe it, but you are the cause of your own suffering. Now, I'm not talking about the things that happen outside of you that you have no control over, because we know things can always happen, but you have to ask yourself, like, and this is coming from an empowering perspective, you got to ask yourself that when you're going through the different challenges and stuff, do I want to be creator and cause of my own suffering by how I'm thinking, how I'm acting, and responding to what's going on outside of me? That's where the suffering comes in, because things happen and it's not gonna stay that way the same the whole time. You got to think about life; it moves in cycles. Things cycle in, things cycle not come in. It's in there 1 minute, then it's gone. That's how things happen. Things don't in these circumstances do not last forever. But how you respond, and that's gonna be a test to see if you're gonna be a part of this suffering. Are you gonna keep on feeding it, or are you gonna come from an empowered place and say, you know what? I've been through a lot of things, and I've come through and grown through a lot of things that I didn't think I'd be able to come back for. So that's why it's big when I say when you're looking back to your past, is to look back at how far you come and what you overcame. Those moments where you thought that you was going, okay, this about to take me out right here. I ain't gonna be able to make it through. And you were still able to get through those things. You gotta think, dig down and ask yourself, okay, what did I do? What were some of the lessons that I could take from my past? How did I navigate this challenge? Because I guarantee you, you're gonna have plenty of things in your past where you thought you wasn't gonna be able to get through, but you was able to get through it. And whatever, it does not matter how big, how small. We ain't even got to talk about size, not even a thing of big or small. Whatever comes in your path, you have to know within yourself that whatever I go through, I get through and I grow through it. And like we said, it's back to those mantras. What stories are you telling yourself on a day to day? How do you talk to yourself? Do you think that you're able and capable of navigating the things that show up in your life? And even if you feel like you're not, are you seeking the help? Are you seeking the guidance? Someone who could help you in the area where you feel weak. In those moments where you feel like, okay, because the work is still gonna be on you, but there's gonna be some areas and things where you just don't really know how to navigate. And that's when you seek that outside guidance. But even with seeking guidance, it's still gonna be up to you to do the work. Because what's that saying? I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Giving you the wisdom, but are you going to take it and utilize it for yourself? Are you going to be able to navigate this thing in a way that only you can? Because we're not all meant to navigate through these changes and things the same way. So you got to figure out where does my strength rely? It's going to require you to trust yourself. And that's what this thing boils down to when those challenges and unexpected things happen. Like, do you trust yourself? It requires trust in a divine plan and all that's going on outside of you. You got to know, like, I don't really know how it's going to work out, but I do know that everything works out. And that was a message that had came through to me, I want to say last week. Like, even when things don't go the way that you plan them, everything still works out. So you got to figure out what's that motto for you. What mantras am I going to create for myself, especially in those moments where I feel like I don't know which way to turn. I don't know which way to go. I don't know what to do. You know, you got to figure out a way to empower yourself. And then once you empower yourself and you figure out ways to navigate, you will see that when you train your mind, how you respond and react to, the things that's going on in your life, when you respond in a way that's empowering for you and you keep on that path, you'll find that you have support all around you. Like, don't ever think that you'll be getting through everything alone. But it's gonna take you to move your feet, because can't nobody move them for you. So you got to take those lessons and you got to keep on moving, even if it's small steps, baby steps. That's what's going to empower you to keep it going. But know that when you trust yourself, and even though you don't have a clear vision of, okay, I don't know what's going to work out, but I'm just going to keep moving, you know, and then it's like that divine order, that divine plan. Here you go, support coming out the woodwork. It's like you're not gonna be in it alone. When you're uncertain, there are gonna be people. There are gonna be situations that happen that may shake things up in order to help you, in order to bring you in alignment. That's what divine order is. But it requires you, to trust and know that when things aren't happening, it's not by accident. Even if it don't make sense, even if it's not ideal to you, it's something in it for you to help you to grow. And then that's my spiel, because we at the hour mark. And so
Oh,
I'll say your
it
spiel.
goes so fast.
Yes.
All right, well, let me just leave with one closing thought. So patience is a requirement of life, and it's one of the keys that we need to like unlock our greatest potential, And I mean, scripture says it's one of the fruits of the spirit. So it's like a supernatural power. And we have to understand that because everything is happening for us, life is going to teach you patience.
Mm,
And so we got to recognize what patience is. One of the definitions of patience is long suffering. Another one says controlled waiting. And it's like understanding what that means. Because I'm learning constantly in different degrees, higher and higher degrees about patience. And patience is a form of discomfort. It's like
mm,
you don't feel comfortable, but you're able to control yourself. And it's like if this is a supernatural force, patience, if patience is a requirement of life, and if everything is working for you, then circumstances of life are helping you to acquire this powerful tool of patience. And patience is not comfortable. When you
mm,
waiting and you want to move and you want to jump, or the life is moving too slow, or you working a plan and it seems like it ain't happening, when you feel like you only moving 1 inch at a time, that discomfort, recognize, is cultivating patience. That discomfort is working for you. It's helping you. And sometimes just go lay down if you can't be still. You know what I mean? But I think that that's one of the key ways, if we really understand that, to know that, wow, things are working out for me. This is happening for me, because look at the patience that is cultivating in me. Wow, this discomfort that I'm feeling is teaching me how to be still and wait on what the next step is. Wait on some clarity to set in. Wow, I don't know what to do right now. Let me control myself and be still until I get an idea, until whatever comes. You know what I mean? Because that's what the patience is all about. And patience is your friend. You need it, and life is going to teach it to you. So embrace it. Embrace it as the powerful tool that it is. And so that's my final thought.
yes, yes. I had to write that down as you was talking. Patience is uncomfortable. That was a word for me. That, because that's the truth. Patience is very uncomfortable. But it's like you said. It's all about trusting that process. And it gets, weary sometimes. You just be like, to hell with all this. Can we speed this up? Can we speed this up? But patience is very uncomfortable. But are you willing to endure it? Are you willing to see yourself through it? But that's our spiel. That's our time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can bring you more conversations like this. Please talk to us in the comments, because we want to hear from you too. Let
Yes,
us
we
know
do.
if these episodes, these conversations, they're resonating with you, because we do love to hear from you guys. And like we say, whether you've been on your journey for a minute or you just began your journey, know that there's always room for growth and self-discovery. So until next time, y'all have a good one.
Yes, peace.